Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the Common-SenseIVORE podcast. This is our first guest, Eric Lowe. Let me tell you really quick about Eric, and then he will give us a rundown on what he has going on. Eric and I met on from one of my posts on TikTok, and at the time, he was significantly larger than he is now, and he had already been on a journey to that point, and I think we connected based on kind of a like theory and on health and wellness and getting healthy and losing weight and the carnivore diet and all those kind of things. I was putting the videos out. He caught one of them, and he and I have since been able to meet, have some dinner, and enjoy a steak and talk a lot about what it is to be healthy. So I'm honored to have him come on as my first guest for this new podcast that I'm getting up off the ground and running. And I hope that you all enjoy his story. Eric, how are you, my friend?
Really good. Really good. Really happy to be on here with you. Pretty excited about it. I know we've talked about it a bit in the past, and I bypassed the nerves to get here with you today. So.
Well, the neat thing is we're going to be talking about stuff that both of us know very well. And again, your story, I think, is one that people need to hear because it is laced with success and it's also laced with failure. And in our many conversations, both online and offline, you've been real open and honest about what those successes and those failures are. And so, and what you can do better. And what we want to try to do is get people to understand that it's not on the internet. It's not what it looks like necessarily. In my videos, I try to reflect how tough this can be, the times you don't want to work out, the times you want to go eat that ice cream sundae, the times that you don't want to eat the steak, all of those things that go along with it. And then when you do it, the success that you have. And so your story, I think, is reflective of that. So kind of give us how old are you, kind of what part of the world you live in, and then give us your health history, if you will, going back as far as you're comfortable.
Okay. No, I'm 49, getting ready to turn 50 in February. So not a spring chicken. I was previously in the military, so I had to keep decent shape in the Navy. Maybe not the greatest shape, but fairly good shape. I got out of the military in 2004. I was right around 210, 220. Slowly over time, pounds added up. In 2010, I decided I'd had enough. I hit 350, kind of washed my hands, and I was like, I need to do something. I went to a very calorie deficit diet. Started doing a huge amount of cardio over the course of about 11 months or so. Dropped back down from 350 back to 205. That was laced with its own troubles. For one, I got bored with it, laid off, eventually put the weight back on. For two, biggest thing I noticed, and what's different between that time and this time, is I was so sore the whole time. My joints were sore. Asked people about it, and well, that's probably your ligaments were stretched out from being overweight and carrying that much weight. And eventually over time, you'll feel better. And over the course of about a year, I didn't really start feeling much better. And it probably took about 2 years before I just ached all over. It was just painful, super painful. So I got lazy with it. Got wrapped up in work, got wrapped up in life, started just ignoring myself. Got a million excuses out there of what I was doing at the time, but I was making time, trying to make money, trying to make a living, and didn't have quote unquote time for myself. So January, well, roll it back a little bit. Christmas 2022, my wife got me a gym membership, and no other Christmas present probably ever pissed me off more than that gym membership. Yes, plain and simple. I was not happy. You know, what's it going to do for me? And the excuses were so bountiful. It was, I don't eat that bad. I don't eat that much. I don't sit down and pig out on ice cream and candy all day. I don't, you know, I shouldn't be fat. Was kind of my way of looking at it. I was angry at the circumstances of just the fact that I thought that I shouldn't be fat. There's no reason. I don't eat no more than this guy or no less than this guy. But I digress a little bit. My wife dragged me into Planet Fitness. We started working out. Good old 5 minutes on the elliptical, and I couldn't breathe, and ended my session. So, and it progressed from there. She's been right beside me the whole time. I was still doing the calorie deficit diet through January, February. In March, I decided I was going to try keto. Went to keto, and I enjoyed it. Like, yep, keto, this is working out for me. Until I saw the whole net carbs thing. And the net carbs is what lost me to keto, honestly. You can eat, you know, this many carbs if you counteract it with fiber, and it just didn't make sense to me. Ended up taking a trip to Vegas. During that trip, only thing I couldn't get enough of was meat. And I think at this point I'd already seen a couple of your videos, Jerry, and I was aware of the carnivore thing. I just didn't. I was kind of, yeah, it's not sustainable. It's not really something I really want to delve into. When I started just craving meat, I could care less if I had anything else with it. I just wanted, give me the biggest steak you've got and bring another one for dessert. And that led into where I'm at today. I would say in probably, I think it was late March, I started just carnivore. And even still, I was kind of not going to do this hardcore. I'm not going to go all out. I'm still going to eat the things I like. I don't want to do it hardcore. And that kind of changed over time. I start doing it more and more hardcore as time goes on. So when I started in January, I was 355, and I'm down to 250-ish, give or take, depending on the day today. So a little over 100 pounds gone. I'm feeling fantastic. That soreness that I experienced the first time around back in 2010, 2011 with my joints hurting so bad, I had none of that this time. So really thankful. It's been a good journey this time around.
Let's get into that a minute. Let's take each one of those steps at a time.
Yeah.
It's 2004. What's that? 19 years ago. You are what? 30 years old.
Yep.
You get out of the military. I understand that, right?
Yep.
You weigh how much? 205, I think you said?
Yeah, it was between 205, 210 there.
Okay, 210.
Yep.
And so over the course from 2004 to 2010, you went from 210 to 350, I think you said?
Yep, I think, sorry, I rewind that back. I think I was about 330 at my heaviest there.
330. So you go from 210 to 330, 120 pounds, and in the intervening 6 years. So 6 years. So tell me what changed. Just what were you doing differently up through 2004, that from 2004 to 2010, specifically for that first weight gain? You kind of talked about work and life and those sorts of things, but I'm assuming you had work and life up until 30 years old.
Yeah.
Did you have kids? I mean, was there something specific that made you think I couldn't keep doing the same sort of thing? Trying to contrast your 20s through your 30s, because that kind of seems when it fell apart. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think Well, for one, it was my first desk job. I sat at a desk for uh, 16 years there, and I think that played a huge part in it.
And that
Uh,
started when?
in 2004, just right
Okay.
after I got out of the military.
Okay.
Um, and significant stress. I had, well, probably about 80, 85 employees under me, uh, an oil field company. Um, Hours were ridiculous. You know, I look at them all as excuses, though, Jerry. Don't
Yeah, I
don't let
get it.
me.
No,
You know that
and let
it's
me just
both.
say, Eric is reacting that way because I think he knows me so well. Eric and I are friends now, that he knows what I'm thinking. But before we get into that, and that's why I'm asking you specifically, because I want you
No,
to tell the story so that the people can hear who because your story is my story, is the same story that everybody else has, and I want to, at the end of this, then go through what you're thinking and then what reality really was, because when you're inside of it, it's
yeah,
so hard to see outside of it from somewhere else. So that's why your story, I think, will
yeah.
resonate for that 30 years old to 40 years old. So please continue.
No, 100% agree. It was, you know, you've got a long day ahead of you. What's going to stop you from stopping and getting that 32-ounce Mountain Dew on the way to work? Well, you've worked till lunchtime, and you have to uh, take a customer or somebody else out for lunch. Well, I like food, Jerry. I still like
Mm-hmm.
food,
Yes.
so I'm not going to order the salad off the menu. Um, and then after work, well, I'm on my way home. I am wore out. I bet you that 44-ounce Mountain Dew is going to pick me up, and it's cascades. And once you build that habit of doing it, it becomes routine, and you don't even think that how much sugar you're ingesting every day.
Right.
So, had kids during that time. Matter of fact, I've got three kids, two daughters, and my youngest is a son, my boy. And it was his birth that got me going on the first go around losing weight. Um, I knew I had a son. I knew we were going to spend some time wrestling. I knew we were going to spend some time doing, doing guy stuff. We are going to be hunting, fishing together. And what kind of, I'm out of breath trying to get down to the lake with a fishing pole. That's
Right.
no kind of life. And
So that's what year you have your girls are what years approximately?
Let's see. My oldest was born in 2000s. I've got a, sorry, you're putting me on the spot, Jerry.
That's
Years. Uh, so I've got a 19-year-old, 17-year-old, and my son is now 12, getting ready to turn 13.
Okay, so literally in between that, from 2004 until 2011 or 12, you're having kids, you have a new job, you're sitting behind the desk, the hours are long, the stress is high. Yeah, what to anybody listening, what's this story sound like? Right? Sounds like it's a story that we all have.
Yeah.
And instead of taking care of yourself and making sure that you found time for yourself there, you kind of turned on yourself and got the woes is me's and I deserve that. I don't even know if you're like me, I don't know that I ever really thought woe is me. I just kind of thought this makes me feel better. I like eating this kind of food. At that point, did you feel like that, or was that the second time around?
No, I like food. I've always liked food. I've always been active enough to counteract that, I guess it would be my way of putting it.
Okay.
Um, you know, I think the biggest thing is once you get in that routine, you don't even think about it. And once you start ignoring the scale, and I'm one of them religious freaks that I weigh myself every morning at the exact same time every single day.
Amen, brother.
If it's going the wrong way, I know it.
Yep.
And I understand it's going to vary. It's going to go up this day, go down this day. But you start ignoring it, and next time you go to buy pants, it comes around. Well, I think I need a bigger size because these are starting to pinch the gut a little bit.
And is it, were you like me? Do you remember this, just as an aside? As I was getting fatter, I remember the pants wouldn't fit me so well. And I had to go to two things. One, I would get bigger pants, and I had to get longer t-shirts. I had never really worn a t-shirt before that. Tall. And I had to get the tall t-shirt so I could tuck it in, and not only tuck it into my pants, I had to tuck it into my underwear, right? To make sure everything stayed in good and tight. And almost like you're fooling yourself. I'm not as fat as I am, as long as I have my underwear, because my belt would dig into my belly. And so I would tuck my t-shirt under. If I wore a t-shirt, I had a t-shirt underneath of it. I might have like one of those dry fit t-shirts. Yep. And then when I would get bigger pants, I would almost be like, oh, that's better. Not, hey, fatso, you're having to buy bigger pants. I was like, oh, see, now they fit. Now I'm good. That's what I remember thinking. That did you go through the same thing?
Oh, exactly the same thing. Yeah, no,
the matter with us.
Your belt buckle starts cutting into your belly a bit, and then you get the pair of pants that fit again.
Right. Like that's the fix.
And I don't even think, oh no, now it's I'm a 38, whereas I was a 36, or now I'm a 40. I never even crossed my mind.
Right.
Until now, Jerry, until we get to the size where you can't start finding it on the rack.
Yeah, right.
And I cheated the system a little bit, because I know exactly what pants are a larger fit, or what pants have a little bit more of the stretchy stretch to them, to be able to fit into that size. So, in January, I was supposedly in 44 size pants,
right.
And not just any. They had to be the specific brand X that had some stretch to them, because otherwise I'd be in a next size up. And
I've said it a million times in my videos. I will say it to anybody that asks me what's one of the best things about getting healthy. And I will say one of the best things about getting healthy is walking into my closet, and anything in my closet, because I've thrown everything like you. I've thrown everything away. Anything in my closet, I can just pick it off I can just pick it right off of the hanger. I can get it right out of the drawer, and I can just put it on. Not, hey, honey, do you know where that one white t-shirt is that goes down past my belt line so that I don't feel like my belly's, that one specific shirt, and oh yeah, it's in the dryer because you wore it for 2 days in a row. All of that, the one of the things that the biggest benefit to me in losing all of my weight and getting in shape is that I can grab anything out of the closet and put it on, and I know it's going to fit.
Oh, so much more space in the closet too. I mean, even if you've got a big closet, you're going to fill it up.
Right.
So, and I think I've even sent you pictures of the piles. I know I've texted you. We've talked about, just throwing, here's another big old black trash bag that's going to Goodwill today.
Right.
So
it's kind of bittersweet, because you got to give up all the clothes, but at the same time, we should all be fortunate enough to go through that and have to do that.
Oh, it's great. It's been, I think I'm on round 4 or 5 now, just going through the closet. And the wife always knows and believe it or not, Jerry, here's a funny thing for you. It's usually the days where I get just a little bit down on myself is the day I do the closet therapy, where I go in the closet.
Nice.
Like, nope, it's junk. It's too big. I'll never wear this.
Right. I'm never getting that big again.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So you have go ahead. I was just going to say, so you have the kids, and then the weight comes on, and that's pretty good weight. In boy, really, you're talking 7-8 years. You put on 130 pounds, whatever, 120 pounds. So your son's born. Now it's time to get going, and you make the mistake that so many people make, that I've made, that everybody has done, which you go into essentially a starve yourself program.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to make it happen, and you're going to starve yourself doing it. The results metabolically, how it makes you feel mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that's out the window. I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to cut calories until I lose weight. So specifically, how many calories do you think you were eating, and what specifically were you eating?
I was down to 1,100 a day, Jerry, for
Wow.
pretty much the whole year. I can tell you right now exactly what I would eat. I'd have throughout the course of the day, I would have 3 Nutri-Grain bars. Right? I know what you're thinking.
3
Right?
sugar boxes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would have a cup of white rice, steamed white rice,
Okay.
and a cup of chicken breast, and essentially as many frozen veggies as I wanted, or as many fresh veggies as I wanted.
Right.
No
butter on the veggies or anything?
No. I
Just
didn't.
eating
I refrained from any of the butter because butter's bad for us. And a little bit of olive oil. That's probably the healthiest thing out of the whole deal that I was eating.
Yeah, that's right. And that was it.
That's it.
Oh my God.
I ate that exact same meal every single day for a year.
For a year.
Yeah.
And you went back to 205 or so, you said.
Yep. I was down to 205.
How strict?
Sounds great, but yeah, I was
you're miserable.
Miserable. Yeah.
You're miserable.
Sore, hurting unit.
How strict?
Very strict. I did allow myself a cheat day like every 2 weeks or something.
Okay.
It still wasn't nothing crazy. I had to go to McDonald's and have a cheeseburger or something, some French fries.
Right.
Nothing, no super huge meal or nothing. It was just, okay, I'm going to have a cheap meal and I'm going to go right back on it.
I can't think of anything worse. In fact, that makes me want to go eat McDonald's right now, just hearing your story. The anxiety that what you just told me gives me, because we have all been there. People that are going to hear this are going to have been there. And the nightmare that is, when I calorie restricted at 1,750, 1,800 calories, people thought that was insane, but that was 1,800 calories of fat and protein, right? Mostly
huge
fat.
Difference.
A huge difference. And by comparison, it was estimated that the Germans fed the Jews 600 calories a day. And we know what they ended up looking like. You were eating not even double that to lose the weight. Yeah. So I'm going to guess that you will agree with my next statement, which is, yes, you were technically healthier because you were lighter, but were you healthier?
Yes, because I was lighter, but that's the only reason.
Yeah.
It's, I guess there's some benefit to, I was getting the quote unquote vitamins that you need and the fiber that you need. And, as sore as I wasn't healthier, Jerry.
Right.
Plain and simple. You can't go through this. And I go to see my my primary care doctor, and he says, well, you're looking great. You're losing all this weight. Yeah, doc, but I'm sore, I'm hurting, and all of that'll pass. That's, your ligaments are just stretched out from you carrying that much weight with you. And just thought that was, par for the course. And really not.
No.
There's no, now that I've done it this time, no, there's no reason not to feel absolutely fantastic every day while you're losing the weight.
Right. Just crazy.
This time around, this journey around, I guess is what I'm calling it. Man, I feel better and better every day.
So let's run through that. So you get down to 205. How long did you last now? So let's say what are you, about 40 years old at this point?
Yep. Yeah. That's about pretty close to 40.
About 10 years ago. So now you're at 205. You're lighter, so you're certainly moving better and that sort of thing. But as you just described, I don't know that you're any healthier metabolically, for sure. But now it's 10. Now the next 10 years, you're 40s. So we got your 30s. Now you're through your 40s. What happened? Was there a specific moment, or the second you came off, the wheels start falling off?
Honestly, I think the second I came off, the wheels started falling off, Jerry. I I remember a specific day. I sure wish I knew the actual date that it happened, but I was on probably a 1 hour 20 minutes on my elliptical at the gym, and not winded. You know, I've been beating myself up on cardio pretty good, so not winded. And I just stopped, and I was like, I'm bored. Like, this is boring to me.
Yeah.
And that night, I went back home. I stopped the workout early. I went home, and it was one of those, you know, I'm not going to go tomorrow. I'll go the next day. And then every other day started into every third day, and every third day once a week. And then I just stopped.
And the whole time you're doing that, you started eating almost immediately?
Pretty close to it. I tried to be good with what I was, you know, still with the rice and chicken. But yeah, it didn't take, you know, a couple of weeks, and I was right back at it. Just, I'm gonna eat whatever. I'm skinny now. I'm gonna eat whatever, and I'm gonna be okay.
Right. Yeah. That's a great point. How long? And then it kind of creeps up on you, doesn't it? Like,
It does.
Yeah, I'm okay, and you're 205 to 215, and then you're 215 to 225, but you're still okay because you're still, I mean, that beats the hell out of 330, and pretty soon 255 beats the hell out of 330, right? And then 270 beats the hell out of 330, even though you're 50 pounds up from where you were.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden one day you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and go, wait, who's that guy? Type deal.
Right.
Like, oh, here, he's back.
Yeah.
You know, the same guy that I worked so hard to get away from in the first place.
So not only did you put the weight back on, how long before you got to 350 or I think you said 355?
Yeah, 355. Shoot, I may have gotten even over that, Jerry. I'm not still 100% sure.
Wow.
Christmas time, 2022. Matter of fact, I will send you I'll send you a before picture of this one of Christmas of 2022.
Okay.
Sitting on the couch, totally miserable, and you know, same night that my wife says she got me the gym membership. So miserable and angry.
So
I won't even lie about that one.
I've seen that picture. You sent it to me before. We'll put it up right here so everybody can see it. But so the picture that we're looking at here is Eric on sitting on the couch. This is Christmas night. That morning for a Christmas present, you got
gym membership.
Val got you a gym membership, and you're pissed because you don't know why the person sitting on this couch right here doesn't know why your wife got you a gym membership.
Yep, exactly. And pissed off because
you're almost
not going to do nothing.
You're almost rounder than you are tall in this picture. I hate to tell you.
Yeah. No, 100% agree with you. So, you know, and even just getting to the gym that first time, Jerry, it was quite an ordeal.
Sure.
You know, I was like, well, I still got some of my big jogging pants. I'll go dig those out of the closet, and no, they don't fit. They fit a 330-pound guy. They don't fit a 355-pound guy.
Yes. Good point.
So let's go chase down some 3X running pants so I can get my butt to the gym. And 3 or 4 stores later, trying to find big boy pants.
It's the worst.
You know, it's awful.
And not only is it the worst, it makes you not want to do it.
Yeah.
Right? It makes you want to stop at Dairy Queen on your way to Haagen-Dazs while you're checking out the 31 flavors, right? I mean, it's just,
exactly.
If you were anything like me, having to go through that, you're like, to hell with this. I'm going to go get McDonald's, and then we'll follow it up with some pizza.
Well, the bad thing is, though, Jerry, is we'd be more welcome at the McDonald's drive-thru, the Dairy Queen drive-thru, than we would going to the gym.
Yes, that's at
that size. That's our place. That's you know, right. Nobody looks at that guy in the drive-thru and goes, he shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Gym's a different story. You know, a lot of people look at that guy, that big guy in the gym, and says, well, he shouldn't be here. Well, he's the guy that should be there.
And my story, I've told this many times. My first day in the gym, January 1st, 2022, or what year are we in? Yeah, 2022. That was my first time in the gym. And I tried to do a push-up and I couldn't get back up off the ground. And I had to, anybody can go watch the video. I've told the story a couple of times. But I remember thinking going into that gym, and I don't think that you were here yet, but so you tell me what the difference is. Because I had my epiphany about I'm going to live in November when I was in the hospital down 4 pints of blood. I'm going to live and I'm going to do whatever in the hell it takes for me to live. And so that everything kind of was a crescendo onto that January 1st date, getting into the gym, going for my walk, 24 minutes to go a lousy quarter mile and just in so much pain, and going to the gym and trying to do a push-up. And I could not do one push-up. But for me, I said, I'm tired of where I am. I deserve all of this. Everything I am, this is all my fault. So I went in there with the mindset that I don't care how much I get beaten down, I'm going to crush this. It doesn't sound like you hit that till March or so. And those first couple of months, as you were kind of calorie restricting, you were just there because you knew you needed to be there. But it doesn't sound like your mind was wrapped around it 100%. Is that, am I describing that accurately?
Nope, you're 100% right. I fought it. I fought it until, it was probably middle of February, March, when I started noticing, the clothes fitting a little looser and the belt, take up one belt notch, and it's motivating.
Yeah.
So once that hit, I think that's when once I got that motivation is when I decided I was going to give keto a try.
And what were you eating for those first couple of months?
Pretty much, I was still trying to eat. I cut out fast food. I cut out all the soda. Cut out all the sweets that I could. Usually, I would do because they're quote unquote healthier for you. The tortilla wrap sandwiches, or I would even go with order a lettuce wrap sandwich, from the local fast food place because that's healthier. And right away I knew I had to cut the sugar out. And that was a battle in itself. Cutting out the good old Mountain Dews, man. I love the heck out of them. So, but since then, I don't even do any of the artificially sweetened stuff either. I just, nope, I don't want nothing sweet in my life besides my wife. And I'm gonna go all out. If I need something, if I need a flavor, it's gonna be salty. So we went that way.
Right.
So,
and real quick, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty, everybody. All right, we're picking this back up, and Eric is telling us about how much he loves Mountain Dew, and how quickly he had put the weight back on. He hit the gym. This is this year, right? Then we're talking about January, February of this year. By virtue of going to the gym, you had lost some weight, enough to lose a belt buckle hole or so. But what were you eating again specifically?
I was mostly just trying to cut out the sugar, and cut down the amount that I was eating. Still, whatever was on the plate that night, just less of it.
Okay.
And,
all right.
Kind of a conscious decision to reduce the intake, trying to cut down on the snacking. Not eliminating snacking, of course, but just cut it down.
How hard was that? How hard was that to do? Because at that point, for me, I always failed at that point. For me, I had to go hardcore because any kind of snacking or anything always was, well, I had one snack, I'm going to have two. And in the early days when you don't see any movement, it's like, no, that's not really doing me any good either. How did you, I mean, you did enough that over the course of a couple of months, you lost a little bit of weight, obviously, or at least some size. What's going through your head?
How much I was snacking. it's not until you try to restrict yourself that you know how many times you go to the fridge in the middle of a TV show, or in the middle of the night you get up to go grab a cookie or something, and just the eye opening of, man, I opened this fridge a whole lot, way too many times for this to be okay.
Right.
And just cutting it down was really eye opening. The attitude I mentioned earlier about I don't eat as much as everybody else, or I eat about the same as everybody else. Once I started seeing what I was eating, that changed my point of view on that quite a bit. I started doing a little bit more of the blaming myself.
Right. Where on Christmas, on Christmas morning, you were super indignant.
Oh, I was not a happy camper at all.
Fascinating.
I did not want to go to that gym. I was done with it. I didn't,
not only did you not need to go, but why did you need to go? Right? Weren't you asking yourself, I don't know, why does she think I need to go to the gym?
No, I knew what her motive was. But my exact response was, well, what's that place going to do for me?
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. I remember sitting there and those words coming out of my mouth.
So not only did you think it, you said that to her.
Oh, I told her. She knew I was not happy. So
I love it. Okay.
And then
so the new year gets there and you're kicking and screaming to the gym?
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, we had set up a date that January 2nd was going to be the first day we went. And conveniently, January 2nd was when I realized I didn't have any workout clothes big enough for me.
Right.
So we got to go do that tonight. And then
we'll go to the gym tomorrow.
January 3rd was the first night.
Okay.
So
a couple of months go by, you lose a little bit of weight, and you get that little bit of progress that people like to see. The belt gets a little bit tighter, or gets a little looser. That's all good. And so then you're like, okay, now maybe there's something I can do. There's some shift there. You start to take some blame for what's going on. Where did that come from, do you think, where you take that blame? Was it that you started to see a little bit of progress, so maybe the light clicked on?
I think so. I think the good old memory of, I've done this before. I know how to do it. I can do it again. Previously, I've since a little bit changed my way of thinking, but I always related weight loss to a math equation. And I think you've talked about it a couple different times where, if I'm burning more calories out than I'm taking in, it's simple math, and then it's going to equal out. I'm going to go the way I need to go.
Right.
So I think that was my one of my biggest eye openers, is a blame. Stop just saying, this was caused by something else, and I didn't even know what that something else was.
Yeah. Right.
It just happened. I don't know how it happened.
Okay. The light clicked on.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I had an epiphany. I had a moment, laying in that hospital bed. I said, I'm over this. I'm done with it. For me, it was very, very strong. For you, it was subtle, but I'm sure it had to correlate with the fact that your clothes started to fit a little bit more. Something turned that light on. You go to keto specifically. What are you eating?
Oh, I would tell you, but honestly, it was such a short period of time, Jerry.
Okay.
Pretty much directly out of the keto cookbook. I was mostly fruits, veggies, meats. If I did go with the breads, I was going to the more keto friendly, zero net carbs type deal.
Right.
So obviously I was eating, enough fiber, to make the keto, side of it happy. So
right. So that wasn't very long then.
No, it was only maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe a month.
Okay. And what kind of fat and protein were you eating?
I was doing protein shakes, so whey protein. Um, uh, still, still burgers, still steaks, still just not a lot of them.
Right. How many
You know,
calories you think?
oh shoot. What I was still stuck in that rut, Jerry, of I need to cut these calories down. So I was still maybe 1,200, 1,400 calories a day.
Miserable. Okay.
So yeah, and I was still hungry. I was
Right.
really hungry. I remember I was at a bachelor party in Vegas, and like I need a steak. That's all I wanted.
Right.
give me
Right.
give me a steak, and they bring me a steak, and everybody looked at me kind of funny, and I'm like, I need another one. Just get another one coming, and order 2 steaks. That's kind of where my eyes got opened to maybe this meat thing. There's something to it. I still believe your body will crave what it needs. I know there's so many different ways you can say listen to your body, but I still think to a certain degree your body will tell you, and I think that's what it was telling me. You need the protein.
I agree with that. I think your mind will crave what it wants.
Mm-hmm.
I think your body will crave what it needs.
Yeah.
The problem is we're ruled by our minds in so many cases.
Yeah. Well, and I find that the meat craving was inexplicable. I didn't know why.
Yeah.
Whereas, I've told you before, the good old chocolate dip cone from Dairy Queen. I can count on one hand how many times I've had it in the past, but it was my one craving for months.
Yeah.
I can explain that. It's sweet, it's crunchy, it's a great treat.
Checks all the boxes.
But I couldn't explain this sudden craving for mass amounts of meat.
So 3 weeks into that, you're in Vegas, you get back, and you're like, you see some crazy lunatic on the internet that's doing carnivore diet and has had all kinds of luck and is screaming and yelling about how it's changed his life around. And you're like, I'm going for it.
Yep. That was exactly it. It was kind of one of those deals where there's got to be something to this. If this is what my body is wanting right now, and it's worked for other people, it worked for you. You came along right at the right time there. Mm-hmm. Came across my feed, and it was, there's something to it. And your videos kind of caught me off guard a little bit because you weren't yelling and screaming and telling me what a lazy bum I was, which is appetizing, but you were real about it. You still put your hot sauce on your eggs, and you still use, salt, pepper, spices. I'm like, oh, I can go for this.
You can do it.
I love a steak.
Yeah.
And still love a steak. So
you're how much? You weigh what at that point? This is about March. That's March of this year.
Yeah, March of this year, and I was 330 still.
Okay, 330, March of this year. As we have this conversation, it is the 12th of November. I know you recently have hit somewhere around 250, right?
Yep.
So down from 330. Again, let's say at the beginning of this year, you were somewhere around 350, you think?
350, 355-ish. My scale wouldn't weigh me, Jerry.
Yeah, the scale.
I had to get on the good old Amazon and order me a bigger scale.
That should have been your first idea that something was wrong, right? The scale won't weigh you anymore. Yep. So you're down 100 pounds, give or take, in 11 months and a little bit of change. Specifically starting in March, it really starts to pour off of you because you are doing the carnivore diet. You are restricting calories or eating as much as you want.
I battled the calorie restriction thought for a long time. Really, I think I battled it until
battled it in the context you didn't want to do it.
Well, battle it mentally as far as there's no way that you can eat 2,000 calories or 3,000 calories worth of meat and still have weight drop off. Versus, well, if I still cut this down to 1,400, it'll move even faster.
Right.
Legitimate mental battle in my head. Like, I'm hungry and I know I could solve this with some more bacon or a steak or some more eggs. But yeah, we've been pushed it so long, so much our entire lives of the calories are the weight and the calories are the problem, that if you want to lose weight, you should be hungry, right? I mean, that's kind of the way society hits us with that.
Yeah. So you restricted to what? What were you doing?
I
on
probably
Carnivore?
I would say I upped it to about 1,400 when I first started Carnivore.
And how long did you stay there?
That was probably a good month or two, I would imagine.
Okay.
And then that changed. I got a piece of advice from you, and it was I think you told me your exact words to me were, Eric, you're not eating enough.
Right.
I'm like, okay,
right.
Let's give it a shot, and upped them, and I still conflict with you a little bit because I don't count my calories to this day.
Right.
But I know I roughly eat pound and a half, 2 pounds of steak a day, and 3 duck eggs and a handful of cheese. And my guess when I calculated out with the other day was I'm sitting probably about 2,200 calories a day.
Right.
So,
good number.
I'm still coming down.
Right. You still got, I was just going to say, so you're aiming for, you're about 250 right now, down from 350, 355, and you are aiming for?
I'm shooting for about 215.
I think that's right. You're about, how tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
6'1". So 6'1", about 215 sounds right to me. Yep. What are you doing for exercise? Well, let me back that up a little bit. What have you been doing since you went to 2,000, 2,200 calories? So the last 6, 7, 8 months, what have you been doing?
I've been working on a high intensity training program at a gym that actually has their workout programs in a sauna.
Okay.
So varies. It's all various types of cardio, but I'm still doing the rowing machine right now is probably my go-to. I love the workout that gets me. Or the cycling in the sauna, or they have another elliptical type machine that they run a program with inside the sauna. So they're a lot shorter time frame. You're not in there for an hour. Usually 15, 20 minutes, and you're good for that workout. Now, okay. I have carried myself workout to workout, and just kind of get to the point where I need more. I'll go do another workout in a different room. But working out with the sauna is one of them things that I think everybody should give it a shot to.
Yeah, it's no game. The sauna in itself is no game. How hot is it in there?
125.
Yeah, 125.
Where they keep it. It's infrared, so it's a fairly dry versus the steam sauna.
Right. How soon before you start pushing some weights? No. I'm gonna ask you that question next. How many times you go in a week?
Right now I'm trying to do 4. 4 days. at least 4.
Okay.
And sometimes 5, sometimes 6.
Right.
My wife and I get in challenges where we're let's do 7 this week, and we'll go for that.
How do I get in on one of these challenges?
I think you're already in on it, Terry. So otherwise I'd be listening to my own laziness on the side and being, I'm not going to go tonight. So how
do we get you moved over to pushing some weight around?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
We've talked about this one. I'm one of those trepidatious folks about I haven't spent too much time in the gym in my whole life, and
right.
Where's that starting point of being the guy that doesn't know what machine does what type deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
I think, that's fair, and I appreciate you saying that, because that is a comment that I get a lot, or I hear personally a lot from people that are our age, guys in their 40s and 50s who have never been in the gym or hadn't done it since they were in high school, or and this one, I think I probably don't hear it as much as I should, by people who just don't want to admit they don't know. It's kind of like it's an affront to your manliness if you don't know how to go to the gym and work out, so they just don't say it. But I think that there are a large number of people who simply don't know how to do it. Now, I will advocate, particularly for somebody who is down 100 pounds and has done that work. Lifting weights is not something that you do at 305, but it's certainly something, I think, you're at 355, but certainly you should start doing at 250. And so understanding that's a big deal, because it's something you want to break yourself into. But in my estimation, I would lift weights before I would go do anything now. So like today, I wasn't able to go for a walk, even though it was a beautiful 65 degrees. People are here out of town. It is 6:54 right now in Tennessee. My gym closes at 10. If I'm going to get my hour and a half of weightlifting in and my half an hour in the sauna, as soon as I'm done talking to you, off I go, and I won't be able to walk. So I'm going to sacrifice my walk to lift weights. Now, when I was 100 pounds heavier, I would have sacrificed I wasn't lifting weights till I got to 250, but I would sacrifice my weightlifting to go for a walk. And so at about 250, I think, is about the time to start incorporating that. And knowing what you don't know is half the battle, because it is scary and you 100%. Can hurt yourself. And that is what happens we've had this conversation, you and me, all these people online that are trying to be influencers that used to weigh 450 and now they weigh 350, and they're out doing CrossFit and freaking MMA, right? And what happens to them constantly? They get hurt.
Always getting hurt. Yep.
Yeah, they get hurt. So I want to encourage you, and I want to encourage everybody else to go. Maybe I'll make a couple of videos on some easy kind of startup stuff that I did that just gets, it doesn't have to be complicated. That's the thing too. It doesn't have to be anything more than 3 or 4 or 5 rudimentary movements on a daily basis to just get started, because that I think also will start to kickstart some weight loss because your muscles eat up so much more energy than your fat does. Your fat just sits there. So all right. So going forward, then, what's the plan? How do we get you to 215? What's your plan? What are you going to do?
Oh, see, didn't know you were going to ask me this one.
Perfect.
No, that's good. Put me on the spot. I like it. I think my biggest thing is continue to switch things up. I am 100% one that gets really comfortable doing what they're doing, and that's what I like to do. I guess getting comfortable being uncomfortable is one of the really fundamental foundations, I guess, of this whole journey.
Yeah.
And I wasn't comfortable day one going in the gym. I definitely wasn't comfortable week one going into the gym. I think the biggest thing, and I agree with you, is the starting to push the weights.
Yeah.
And I think I'm getting to that point where I need to. I've already noticed that the muscles react so much differently with the amount of protein that we're getting per day. The rowing machine, which is, like I said, one of my favorites, has produced some amazing results, just in muscle tone.
Right.
That like, how am I doing this quick? Almost. And it really is the perfect diet for that type of muscle growth.
And your joints this time around versus last time? When did joint pain go away this time?
They didn't even start.
It's amazing.
So, joint pain is non-existent. It has been this whole time.
Recovery?
No recovery.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you just feel good, don't you?
Sometimes I push it real hard, you'll get a little soreness going on in the arms or something, but no, it is a completely different experience.
Right.
I don't feel wore out. Uh, I amazed one of the trainers at the gym the other night because we got talking. He saw that I had a Carnivore sticker on my water bottle, and he asked me about it, and I'm like, dude, I just got done eating a 2-pound porterhouse, and like literally, I rinsed my plate off, and now I'm here.
Yes.
5 minutes later, he said, "You're gonna work out like that?" Heck yeah, it's not slowing me down.
Nah.
The food doesn't need to slow you down. Doesn't make you feel bloated or gross about yourself. I feel full, and I'm ready to go work out.
I don't know. I don't know about you. To that end, two things. Number one is the exact same thing that when I eat. The last time I had pizza, which is, as you know, I reward myself with pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably, instead of eating 4 pieces, I probably ate 5 or 6. I mean, I was just into it, right? I'm just going to put as much of this. I love it so much. I got my Coke Zero, and I'm just going to crush as much of this pizza as I can. And I came out of there driving home. I said to my wife, "Man, I feel fat. Like,
Oh yeah,
like my pants aren't going to fit. What the hell is this?" When I eat 4 pieces, I hadn't really felt that, but this time I think I put away 5 or 6. I was like, man, I feel fat. That's what this feels like. Oh, I get it, because I had never felt that before. Then I kind of just wanted to lay down and do. As it turned out, I went home and went for a walk because it was like midnight. But I felt, I was just like, what the hell is this? So I had to go kind of get a 15-minute walk in. But so I kind of got a sense of that. And it contrasts with the fact that, like you said, I will sit down and eat a giant meal and then go to the gym. Simple. I mean, that's just, and I don't even think twice about the food that I'm carrying, because I don't get that kind of carb, I guess, loaded fullness that we all get. Fullness is the wrong word. I'm sick. I eat too much Chinese food, that feeling.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm ready to go. I mean, sitting down for the meal is enjoyable, but it takes up part of my day that, I need to get this going again as soon as I'm done eating. I need to get going with the day again.
How do you, so going forward, I'm coming up on my 2nd anniversary. January 6th, I'll be 55 years old. And there's not going to be too many 55-year-olds, I don't think, in America that are going to be in the kind of shape that I am. I'm going to be in rare territory, I think. Not to say that there's not lots of people that are all jacked at 55. I'm just saying I'm going to be up there with them, because I've never been stronger. And so my resolve as I come into my 2nd year, knowing that the numbers are against me, 95% of people who lose weight within 2 years, I think it is, put back on more weight, or put on the weight and then some. It's some crazy, I may not have that exactly, but I think that's pretty close. It's a crazy number. And so as I come up on my year 2, I have huge plans for myself, and 2024 is going to be the greatest year ever, I keep saying. And so that's kind of my mindset. That's where I am. I'm going to weigh about 235, 230 to 240, somewhere in there. I'm full of muscle. I couldn't be happier. I'm strong, all of that. That's my story. So given that that's my story, how are you motivating yourself now that you're coming up on the end of your 1st year to make sure that you don't backslide like you do before and go back where you came from? How do you, I mean, I know you're still on your journey, obviously, going forward to get to that bottom weight, but how do you keep going? What's the plan?
Oh man, I still haven't hit my 215, Jerry, and I'm not going to stop till I get there. And I have absolutely no reason to stop eating what I'm eating. So, I think I don't know what my end goal is. I know I look at 215 as my a preliminary goal, I guess, kind of the end of the weight loss side of it. But
then it's time to start building.
No, yeah, for sure.
And
I have, I have every desire to still be able to play with grandkids when they come along, and I can guarantee you, one thing, being 350 pounds, that's only reducing my chances of having that possibility.
Right.
This journey that I'm on right now, like I've heard before, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Yep.
But at the same time, at least you're working towards it to where You're going to be healthier for longer, more than likely live longer. Um, and when it all boils down to it, if you could guarantee me I was getting one more day with one of my grandkids or one of my kids, it'd be worth it.
That's exactly
So,
right. I couldn't agree more. Obviously, it's just putting the odds in your favor. You might as well play the
yep.
odds. It's so worth it. Forget about, you know what, and throw all of that out too. And I agree 100% with you. The point I would make on top of that is my life is 1,000 times better every day. So whatever day I get to live tomorrow at 240 pounds and 128 pounds of muscle and bone, that's in a size 32 pants and a large t-shirt. That's the greatest day than any day I spent at 300 pounds.
Yes. Yeah. 100% agree with you.
Everything else on top of that is just gravy. And that extra day with the kids is just gravy. With the grandkids is just gravy. Yeah, I agree. Last question. For me, and this is a question I get all the time. Yesterday, I was at a Thanksgiving thing with a bunch of friends, and a guy watching my videos is down 40 pounds. And so he was asking me here locally, he gets tired of the food. He gets tired of the meat, and he's, early in his journey. And so I explained it to him. For me, being tired of the food, I never get tired of the food now. I did when I started, but my relationship with food is so different now that food is not a pleasure center. Food is an energy center. And my body craves, like a lion craves its meal in the middle of the night because it knows it has to feed to live again. That's almost my approach to food. Imagine you're so hungry. How good is the food that you're eating? Or imagine you need that energy to go another day. How good is that food that you're eating? Rather than just that pleasure center that it used to be with really no nutritional value, just this emotional value. So that's how I characterize food, because I cannot wait. I have to wait 3 hours before I can eat in the morning. I cannot wait for noon to come so that I can eat my 10 or 12 eggs and my sausage. And then as soon as I'm done eating, I can't wait for 6 or 7 o'clock to get here so I can dig into a ribeye or a bunch of chicken. That's my kind of take on food. That's the way I describe food. How do you describe food? How do you keep eating the same thing every day? It seems ludicrous.
Well, at first I went through that. There was probably a week I had to switch to chicken early on because I could not stomach the fact of eating another steak. Literally cut into it, get it on the fork, look at it, and no, I can't do it.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. Yeah, how many times I've heard that too. I can't tell you how many times just so everyone knows, I've heard that dozens and dozens and dozens of times.
Yep.
So,
and now it's, man, I love food. I'm never going to deny that. Love it to death. But I'm not going to be one of those that food is just a fuel. That to ignore some of our pleasure sensors, I guess, with eating food is kind of crazy. But to me, nothing tastes better than a good old ribeye or a pile of hamburger. My relationship is, of course, changed to where it is a fuel. I've noticed myself, I'll end up in a fast simply because I either didn't have the time to stop and go eat, or because I am eating 2 meals a day. I'm eating a lunch around noonish, and then I eat dinner around 5 o'clock. Sometimes if I miss lunch, then I get home from work and 5:30, and I'm not hungry, I'll just say, well, I'll eat lunch tomorrow.
You're right.
And it's not oh my gosh, I have to have it. A couple good 24-hour fasts or longer, and you get to understand what your body will tell you, not your head, but your body will tell you when it needs fuel.
Right.
And that's my way of looking at the food I eat.
Perfect.
So,
Perfect place to end it, I think. I appreciate you coming on, man, and telling your story. I think a lot of people are in the exact same place you were and are, and a lot of people are in the exact same place I was. And I think a lot more of them would like to be where I am. And I think that you and me can continue to be the voice of reason on this and reality and what can be done. And as I tell everybody, and I think you'll agree with this, just start by cutting out the sugar and the processed foods. If you do nothing else, if you don't believe in this carnivore lifestyle, just cut out the sugar and the processed food, and it will absolutely change your life. But as you heard Eric tell, and if you know my story, it's largely the same as his. It's easy, you know, you can lose all that weight healthy, or you can lose that weight unhealthy. I think the chances of you being successful this time are so greatly enhanced because you're eating fatty, protein-rich food that's satiating, and that's a whole different program than eating whatever you were cracking out of your oatmeal box or whatever the thing was that you said you were eating.
Well, you know, and don't discount the power of a walk. You know, I mean, honestly, like world's best exercise. Our bodies were designed to walk.
People think I just came up with that off the top of my head, like it goes along as a good sign out. And I was like, no, you guys don't get it. I mean, don't do anything but go for a walk, right? You know, just go for a walk and stop eating sugar, and you're going to feel better. I agree wholeheartedly. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on. For everybody else, please like, listen, and make sure that you subscribe to the podcast and the channel. You can find it wherever you listen, the Common-SenseIVORE, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want. In the meantime, make sure that if you have any thoughts about how this works, feel free to reach out to me or to anybody else. The internet is full of people that can help you with this diet. There's full of doctors, Ken Berry, Sean Baker, Eric, his name escapes me, Westman. I'm sure I've forgotten a couple of them, that you can go, and that will give you all of the information that you can. It's not going to kill you. It's going to make you healthier across the board. It's going to make you less sore, as you heard Eric say. His experiences are almost exactly mimic my experiences, and you can have the same experiences also by eating nothing but fat and protein. Thanks for listening, and until next time, Jerry Brazy saying goodbye. Appreciate it. Thank you.